What's up, guys? Today we're talking about the Splav M32 in less, or this is actually their M81 copy. And then the interior of this vest, we have a more true to the real thing less, if you guys can see that there. But on the outside, this is more of the M81 copy. It's no variations, but this is going to be probably a very at-length video because no one else is talking about this particular subject, and due to the subject matter, I'm going to try and talk about this for as long as I have information about it. Just get things out of the way first. I'm an American. I have no Russian lineage, zero Russian. There's no Russian in me. I don't know Russian or anything, so I apologize for any mispronunciations or massive generalizations of different eras. So try to be offended. So today we're talking about Splav M32, and let's get into it. But first, talking about Splav's history. I'm also going to be reading a script for this, so you're going to see my eyes looking at a screen because this shit is a niche as fuck, and I don't want to fuck it up. So, Splav was apparently started back in the Soviet Union. The founders of Splav were into water tours and started sewing up life jackets and shit during the Perestroika era between 1985 and 1981. On October 27, 1992, they officially founded Splav. Since the USSR crumbled and skirmishes began across the former territory, the 1990s were not looking good for tourism, so Splav branched out in the industry and started making uniforms and gear for the Russian Federation's forming military. They contracted out to police, military, and security personnel, securing contracts with units such as the 45th VDV regarding their M22 less vest. And I'll show us pictures here. Splav continues to contract today to unspecified police departments throughout Russia. They are still in business and have a website where you can buy camo t-shirts.
Okay, I just want to start off with a massive correction. Splav's website actually has a civilian and then a tactical side of it, so you can on top left you can select fucking civilian or whatever the hell that word is to tactical, and I didn't know that at the time of filming, so now I sound like a complete dumbass. So just know that they do sell tactical gear, and take my information.
They seem to stop putting tactical gear on their website some time ago. However, even if you do venture on their website, it's probably not a good idea to buy from them because of all the sanctions and stuff. You won't get your package. I don't even think they ship out of Russia anymore. Overall, Splav started out making stuff for tourists and outdoorsmen. Then they started working hand-in-hand with the Russian military, making some of the cult class chest rigs such as the M22, M32, M23, and all their variants. They had, all those were in less, but they have other chest rigs too. Nowadays, they seem to have gotten back to their roots, making stuff for the outdoors. However, they left an impact on the Western world as a company that made gear for the Russian military. Hardly anybody out of Russia that I know knows that Splav is actually a sporting goods company.
What are you thinking, boy?
Alright, now I'm talking about a little bit about their different chest rigs they made in less. So, Splav made 4 main types of chest rigs in less. They made an M23 Pioneer in less, used by Rosin, M22, M32, and Alice or Molly. I have the Molly version here, which is a little bit newer, and an M32 CM2 for sober. There was also a net-like one made that I do not know the name of, and there's also a stern vest which had net and stuff. I think it's not related to Splav, but kind of looks very similar to the M22s. But there's an M32 that has a mesh here, and I think it's used special police or OMA or something. Very general term there. There are M22s and M32s are in less and 1-to-1 M81 Woodland, and it's weird. Sometimes you have a less one that has an M81 backing. Sometimes it even has VSR 93 on the backing. You'll see several pictures of that. It's crazy. But there are several different variations. You have an M24 Tarzan. There's a billion chest rigs that Splav makes, but those are just the general types. Let's see here. There's also a thing called Splav M21, which is kind of like the 24, but it has these massive pouches here, 2 pouches right here and 2 grenades here. I think it's shotgun shells or something. They have 2, I think 3 normal AK mags here, and then you have the M22 kind of style cargo metal pockets, and it's Alice too. There's also a version for fucking pistol mags and shit. So especially in Georgia, there was a bunch of people that were using M22s and stuff like that, and but it's really kind of hard to find pictures of the M32 in less in use. I can pop some up, but it's used by I don't have any very specific units, but I know naval infantry. Let me see. Let me go back to that. But there was some other. But on top of the Georgia War, there was some a bunch of vests that look like this, or even commercial copies of the same vest. I don't really know who came up with the 4 mag pouches and stuff up here chest rig design, but I don't think Splav was the first one to do it, but they were very popular when it comes to Russia and that kind of chest rig design. Most of the time when you see chest rigs that look like this, it's most likely a Splav product or a copy from Splav. So M32s were used by some here and there normal big army troops, but they were mainly used by Spetsnaz, which is a blanket term for special forces, police, IE.E, Sober, Oman, and the 4 M32s are the most common variant. Splav also had an M32 contract with MVT Internal Troops in 2004-2006. These contract M32s came with a 6SH92 hook belt thing, and it's paperwork apparently. And then my source for that is Rush 4 Rush for Life on Facebook, and the Splav history was from Cool Tactical Passage. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about Less. Hopefully you guys are still here. Holy shit. So Less is a blanket term for Russian copies of M81 Woodland. They have an actual M81 Woodland copy here that you guys can see here, and then as I showed before, Less. Less looks like it has like yellow and stuff. Splav made Afghanka / Mabuda style garments. I'm not good with that shit. And I know Mabudas have like as for Spetsnaz, where you have pockets right here, and Afghankas. It's kind of similar to me. I get them kind of mixed up. I get those kind of garments mixed together for some reason. But they made the Afghankas and Mabuda style garments in the Less and M81 copy. They made both those garments and Less and their 1-to-1 M81 Woodland copy. The Spetsnaz actually came up with the M81 Woodland butt pack here, attached by some Alice Molly adapters. There's M81 Woodland, and then you can see this. It's basically the same thing. Here's 4. But they also, there's also like a Splav Less M1 airborne suit they made, and so on and so forth. There are more true to real thing, Less garments and gear that you can see that look identical to actual M81 Woodland. My M32 has a copied 1-to-1 M81 on the front, while it has a true Less on the interior liner. This is not unheard of. I saw a Splav Vest have a VSR 93 backing that I was talking about later. On the Mitch, Mitch, very awesome guy when it comes to getting gear and stuff. I didn't get this from him, but very reputable seller at the Mitch Gear Bakery. Splav is kind of like Dick's Sporting Goods. Sorry for the dumb information. I'm trying to read this fucking script, dude. Trying to get this shit done. Comes to the general overview of the vest features. I'll give closer pictures and here have more probably closer look later in the video. But generally just the first rundown, you have 4 mag pouches here, and they're Velcro. You can fit 2 7.62 by 39 mags or 545. You can fit 1 RPK here. And I thought they were going to be kind of small, but they're actually, they fit good. They have really good retention. They have elastic on the sides, and the elastic is not completely ass. It hasn't gotten worn out for some reason, but they could fit a good amount of mags that you would find Russians using, especially post breakup. And 4 mag pouches. You also have these pouches here for like ROP flares and stuff. They have like elastic in them, and you put your flare. I think even like a bayonet or something. They have these I think 3 rows of Molly here, but the Molly's kind of fucked up. You have these cross threads here, and this completely fucks up the Molly here. So if I want, it's not really 3 rows. You have 2 like actual rows you can use, but you have like 1 kind of fucked up row here. Like you can only use like 2 of these. And it's not exactly the best for mountain stuff. Try to mount on some M81 USGI canteen pouches, and I didn't have enough Molly to thread them onto. It would be like drooping somehow. It was fucked up basically, and it would hit me on the sides here. But tab out on both sides here, and you have another pouch here, which is kind of bigger, kind of like I thought it was almost for a radio, but I couldn't fit a valve thing in there. Like trying to fit a valve thing in this pouch is kind of difficult. Here's a pouch, here's a valve thing, and I'm trying to fit it in here. And it was just a massive pain in the ass. But I thought like maybe the whole antenna or something. But no, you can't really fit a valve thing in there. I mean, you can if you really tried. We also have some Alice up here, and these like 2, I think they're not Alice. You have this Molly up here, which you can fit a grenade pouch, IFAK, or so on and so forth. And then you also have these like I think like hard. It's like kind of like hard material, hard canvas. I think they're Alice for maybe like a little like IFAK, I don't know, compass pouch or some shit. On the back you have several rows of Molly. You got, I think, 6 adjustments here and then 2 adjustments on the back. I have them taped up, but they're just simple sliders, and you can slide them up, slide them down, get it really tight to your body. Get really good height. My Vertigo's vest, I got it on eBay on a bid. I got it from a seller. It's kind of overpriced, you could say, but originally it was going to go for like $85, and I started the bid there. I could have bought it now at $110 price, but I did buy it through Facebook. I just see one, do the eBay one, see if I get a better price. And I should have just bought it now because I was going great. I had the final bid at like 75 or like 85, I think, on the last day. And then like I did the last minute, bidders and stuff that came in. And with me and this guy, it was at 85. And dude, we were, the last 30 seconds of that shit, we went from 85 to like 120 to 115. That guy, oh my God, that was kind of annoying. So I spent like about $10 more than if I just fucking bought it now. God damn it, but I got it for $140 shipped, and this shit came on Memorial Day. I have no idea how the hell they got it here on Memorial Day. So it was great, but 140 shipped, but it was going to be 85 at first, which is why, got showed interest in it, but I didn't want to back out. But you have padding here on the shoulders here for when you shoulder, and you also have padding on this little back strap along with the drag handle. On the top, you have these 4 mag pouches. You have the Splav logo here, and you can open up, and each of these have these hooks. They're kind of they have a bungee, not really bungee, it's kind of like more like paracord almost, and these metal rings here, and you can attach it to a grenade pin or like the ring, and you could do a one-handed throw with your grenade where it pull the pin out and shit. Kind of a gimmick apparently, but you know, I don't have any use for those, but you know, put general purpose, you know, fucking put, I don't know, a granola bar or some shit in there. The side of it kind of this big ass annoying fucking this piece of elastic here for like grenade or something to do a flare or something. You also have like a little button here. It's probably more special purpose, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, you can just, you know, fit shit here, big elastic thing here. But I'm gonna give a closer look later, probably in the video. And then same thing on the other side, grenade pouches, but there's only one Splav logo here. It's pretty nice. The logo has like a green and it says Splav. It translates to the owl or some shit, but Splav, yo. I don't think that's how you pronounce it in Russian, but I don't fucking know. But going a little bit into the interior of the vest, and zip it, you have this Velcro cover here. So you know when you're crawling, but it's crawling stuff. But this vest is more so, I don't think meant for, you know, hiking the fucking mountains, more so for like urban operations, I imagine. So I mean, it is what it is. But good Velcro cover. It's pretty nice, really good quality. It doesn't feel too cheap. It's kind of light compared to like a US FLC vest. Kind of interesting, but it's kind of light. But it does feel good quality. But when you unzip it, you have a pull here. You can access your gloves, and you have the Splav logo on the pull. And you could undo that, and sometimes the pull will get stuck on these fucking these tabs here for the interior pockets. I'll get here soon, and it'll just get stuck for some reason. It's kind of fucking annoying. But on the inside, you have these tags here. Show some tags up. Basically gives a type of vest, gives some washing instructions, gives you what you can fit in it, and so on and so forth. You know, 4 mags, you know, 2 the ROG grenades or something like that, RGD grenades. And then here you have a big diagram of the vest, and then you have the Splav. Oh shit! And there's BB. Ignore that. But then you have the Splav M32, and it gives like the reduction number, and I think it was made in the 2000. I think that thing says, but I don't fucking know. I don't know how to read Russian. But this is like a more soft shell, almost waterproof liner in here, and you know, hopefully it's really fucking dark on camera right now, but it's really cool. It's really cool in real life. But on inside here, you have these 2 massive interior pockets where you can fit a bunch of shit. It is again like a soft shell material. So it's kind of like, have you ever felt the M57, no, Taz, the Model 70 Alpenflot field jacket, the waterproof line on the elbows, kind of feels like that. But it's kind of thin, and it's not the most durable, as it feels like kind of like a Ziploc bag almost. But it's a little bit more durable than that. But you have massive pockets, you can fit, you know, your Makarov or some shit in there, or, you know, whatever. Or, you know, fit a canteen. You know, you don't want to do this, it could be fucking hard, but that's just for a point. You could fit a canteen here. And you could close it if you wanted to, but you know, documents, whatever. Like here, here I have some fucking Sportsman's Guide magazine, I guess, or using one of their documents. Shit, fuck. Shit, this ain't going to plan, but imagine you can fit paper in there, basically. That's all I gotta say.
While we are here in this shot, you can see there's the belt loop, and that looks burned. The only real damage on his vest when I got it, because it showed signs of actual use, was that one of the belt loops was frayed, so I had to take a lighter and trimmed it up, and that's what you see here.
But you know, your phone or, you know, whatever, you can fit it in there, and I think it is waterproof, but this does kind of get sweaty. Like right now, I have a t-shirt on, BSR 98 Flora uniform made to specification 2005. Has mesh pit band, doesn't have this waist cinch cord, and I am kind of sweating here, especially around the armpits in this general area. Now it's kind of getting better with this open, but still this can't get hot. And then you open this, and I haven't used this plain airsoft. This is just, you know, in my room, but kind of using a bunch of accounts from people who use these in airsoft, and various sources basically. But on the left Velcro pocket here, you have a repair kit. That actually came with the vest, and you can open this up. The Ziploc bag is older than me. And it says you have some thread in there, and there's some patch of fabric, which is more, it's not less, it is the M81 True copy on the outside. But it doesn't really have any of the black spots, it's kind of weird. But yeah, that's pretty much an overview of the vest. I'll couple more things about the vest before I end this overview. On the right side, I forgot to mention, there's also mesh on the bottom for drainage. And here we have, on the bottom, we have these belt holders, and they're Velcro, and these buttons here. And you pull it out like this. You wrap your belt around it. It's kind of different. So it comes out like this, but it's attached, so you put your belt around, and you do that. Wrap it around your belt here, or you can thread your belt in there if you really want to, but it's kind of the entire purse that should open up and split it around your belt. And you can put it down, and you can hold your belt up, and that is honestly the most comfortable way I've found to carry water. I try to carry water here, and it's kind of ass. I don't want to carry water on my back, I have a big butt pack there. And I want to be able to use that, and also just looks cleaner, I guess. So the best, most preferred way I found to carry water with this is having a West German booster canvas belt, which is very uncomfy if you're just using that shit with no harness or suspension system. I put that on my side, and when these fucking it went into these loops really easily, and I put 2 Alice canteens with covers there, and it was perfect, dude. It was very comfortable. I could crawl down and I could crouch, and it wouldn't bunch up or anything. But yeah, I gotta figure out what the hell I'm gonna do after this. So let's see. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the M32. So here we go. Here we have the Splav Glass M32. Here you have the Splav logo, as you guys can see. On the inside, you have a logo. We'll get to that. But first, there's also on the back pad. There's this A13. So I think that's pretty cool. That might be like a unit or a name or something. Before that, let's talk a little bit more about the M32. So the M32s came in a couple of colors. They had the less M81 copy, and I think they also had a less one, which this is this instead of this. They also reversed. And they had olive and Flora. Flora was the most common variant, and I'm wearing like Flora pants right now. I was wearing a Flora VSR 98 Flora BDU top, or whatever the hell you call it, when I was talking about the M32 before. The most common variant of the M32 is the Alice variant. And I've seen several Alice M32s, especially in less in use. But you see a lot more of the Alice versions instead of the Smalley version. There's only like one rep I could find of the Molly less M32, and it's like a guy in snow camo, which is kind of ass. But here's my M32. You got the 4 magazine pouches here. But the reason why I bought this M32, guys, was because this is my first ever piece of Russian LBE. Like I have a bunch of like Russian copies, or like whatever, like an American-made Smersh or whatever. But it was my first ever real, actual, was used by Russians, limitedly. It's kind of rare, to be honest. And it's actually real. It's real Splav. And I got this because I was originally going to buy this months and months before, but the seller was in Armenia. I didn't get this from Armenia. They're completely different sellers. But the seller's in Armenia, and I didn't want to deal with all like the customs and shit, so I built my own American M32, and I'll show you guys here. It's called the AKFLC that I set up for it, and you'll see the similarities once I start putting them side by side. So let's get the good M32. You have these 2 grenade pouches, 4 mag pouches here, and you have Molly on the side. I also have a sustainment pouch here. This came with it. It's in mint condition. It has the grip stop and stuff. It's very nice. It's like attached with these Molly Alice adapters. It's pretty sweet, to be honest. This is a thing called a 3-day training butt pack. I don't think they ever like issued them out or something to call weird. But yeah, here's the suspension system on the back. You got these 2 sliders here, and this covers the stuff. I have a duct tape right now, so it's secure and stuff. But the sliders, and same thing with the sides. This is definitely meant kind of like the FLC to be over body armor. It looks like, because I tightened these all the way down for it to really fit pretty good, nice and snug. And yeah, it's pretty slick. 3 sliders on each side. But yeah, let's get the FLC out and I'll show you what I mean. So this cost me about $140 a full complete kit. But I actually was able, while I was in my coping phase of buying before I bought the M32, I was trying to justify this for like a Russian or militia kit. I was actually able to find a picture of this guy who was in the Crimean annexation 2014. He's using FLC with some Molly canteen pouches, like a single mag pouch. But here we go. It's kind of hard to sit down on the table here. But on my FLC here, I try to get as much bullshit out the way here, guys. But here is the AKFLC setup. And here we go, we got the US symbol on there. It's pretty faded. But it's just buckles here, and you'll kind of see similarities with M32 and how I set it up. Got the 4 mag pouches here, and I was going to have grenades on each side, but I don't know. I thought it looked cleaner with having this slick here instead of having like a grenade pouch. Not that I could like shoulder my rifle or anything. I'll get to that in a minute. But because I just thought it looked cleaner. But yeah, the US M81 grenade pouches here. Got 3 of them. One here, and one here. And the mag pouches, Condor, double AK mag pouches. They had to find like a ref of these being used, but they're used by like a Ukrainian. And that's perfectly fine though. But we have a speed loader here, 545 mag, and switch calibers. Got about 7.62 by 39 mags. They're pretty easy in here. So this looks kind of goofy. I spray painted it to make it look slightly better. There you go. And on the sides here, I have some water set up. These are some M81 Molly canteen pouches. Pretty slick. Velcro's kind of fade on them, whatever. Or not, the elastic's kind of ass on them, so I kind of tape it. But 2 of those, so it's for fluid down to water. On the back here, I had this ACU UCP butt pack here. It's like a waist pack or whatever, mollied on, and it just kind of gives me some sustainment options if I wanted to. It was pretty cheap. This entire thing was like $140, and this is pretty it feels a bit more sturdy than the FLC. I know the FLC, the Splav M32 for some reason, but this has a bunch of shit on it. This is This is just kind of a, a fucking disgrace, but it is what it is. But here on the inside of the FLC, you have these 2 net pockets instead of the like waterproof pockets that you see on the SWAV M32, and on each side. And yeah, that's my M32 at home. All right, guys. Now we're gonna kind of load M32 up while showing its features and stuff. So again, you have that nice MOLLE webbing on the inside here, and it's good MOLLE. It's standard MOLLE. But on the side I was talking about is that you can't MOLLE on things here correctly because it's just kind of fucked up. Like I didn't MOLLE the crossthread this one would be perfect. So you'd have some MOLLE here, but since they did this cross pattern, it was really strong. It kind of just fucked it up. All right, so let's talk about the tags here. Oh wait, fuck. Let me show you the zipper. Here's the zipper here. It has the SPLAV logo on the pull, so you guys can see it's pretty slick. Very nice. Sorry that kind of like no direction. It's kind of like a whim video. I was kind of just talking about it, but don't really have much direction here. Here is this this passage here, and I'll read it to you guys. This says we look at this. It says equipped with pouches. Fuck. Hold on. I gotta read it. 8 AK, 4 RPK. I read it here. For magazines, 4 RGO RGM grenades. The pouches are equipped with the internal pocket for the fuse and carabiner on the cord / fasten to the pin. You can throw a bayonet. It gives a diagram of where these things go. So number 3. Let's see here. Where does it say number 3 at? Number 3 here. This is for a bayonet apparently. So it gives like a diagram that shows where things are supposed to go. And then number 5 here, this is supposed to be for a dosimeter or like a lantern or something. Then 16 is 2 pockets for documents. Then we have 7 fastening for an oil can. I've seen that in use by like a naval infantry guy. And then we have 8 places for additional pouches for VOG 25, walkie-talkie, etc. It is possible to place an additional equipment on the belt, flask, shovel, etc. Then 9 automatic belt limiters.
Alright, I just want to quickly jump in here. The automatic belt limiters part is actually really cool. What I think that means is when you're carrying like PKM machine gun, like the belts, where it's like you have the pointy bullet, that piece of hard, what I thought was Alice for like a compass pouch before, is actually so the bullets don't hit your neck and make it uncomfortable. So just realize that. Rambo.
So we look at all this. So this massive ass of it, where was that? This massive piece here is for an oil bottle, apparently. So you like secure your oil bottle. I've seen it in use before, but it's like paracord. It's not really bungee, but that's neat. Let me let's set this M32 and continue talking about it. On the side here, you got the mesh and stuff. You put your VOG, your fucking flares and shit. Very nice. Alright, sorry for the lopsided ass fucking camera angle here. But here we go. We have our mag, the 545 mag, like copy. And these will absolutely swallow a single 545 mag, as you guys can see, pretty easily. And you can double stack them, can't triple. But it gets interesting when you try to do a 7.60x39 mags. But you can fit this in here. It has elastic on the side to kind of make it tighter, which gives a bit of retention. Slap that down here. Ta-da! And you have your 7.60x39 mags here. And these have drain grommets on the bottom. And it goes in, definitely. But it's also like a single layer of fabric. It's kind of like rubberized, the mag flaps are. Goes in pretty easily, as you guys can see. Goes in there, but it's really tight, but it's like really nice and tight. It does fit though. It does fit. You can slap that there. And we're going to continue loading this up. Alright guys, there we go. We got the mags fully loaded up in the M32. And now I'm going to show you guys what kind of looking like what it looks like to reload out of this and talk a little bit more about the M32. Opening her up, we have a little bit closer look at the tags here. This tag here says, at the request of the user, the excess length of adjusting belts can be trimmed with obligatory melting slices. The product can be washed using any detergent. It is recommended to hang dry the product away from open fire. If necessary, iron the product at a temperature not exceeding 120 degrees Celsius. You have the company alloy SWAV. Made in Russia, and then you have the number and stuff. And here we have a double-sided tag here. And this one reads, gotta flip this shit upside down to fucking read it. It says, Vest, Model Unloading, Tarzan or Tarzan, M32, Color Forest, which is the, fucking less or whatever hell. The ref, we get fucking number, it says Variety 1, or some shit like that. It was covered with my thumb fuck. But here we go, we have this other tag. And this one says, LLC Company SWAV, made in Russia again. Gives some contact information shit and some, it says, I think it says, here. This is the day.
this was the moment where my phone started having memory issues because this video is so fucking long. So, made in May 2010, 2010. Also says, Moscow, some fucking word I can't pronounce, but it's probably like a sub-district of Moscow. Or Moscow, my bad, Westoid. But, yeah, that's it, and now we're going to go to reloading.
Alright, keep on running on fucking storage on my phone for some reason. It's just getting annoying. So I gotta be really fucking fast with it. So, use the damn Tarzan on or whatever the hell. You slap that shit on, and then you fucking zip this fucker up. Like so. Fuck. Zipper up, and there you go. You slap the zipper in there, slap it in there, and I have, room to shoulder and stuff. I want to give, I gotta show the people who came before me some respect. So Gorgoth, the Siberian, or the hell he's called, made an awesome video about the M32. Love his videos about gear and stuff, aside from politics and shit. The only real criticism that guy had was he didn't like these fucking pouches. He thought it fucked it up with the shouldering rifle. And he's a bigger dude. He's much more muscular than me. So I mean, when you have really massive ass traps and shit, I can imagine it can be a little bit harder. But me, skinny-ish, I can shoulder this pretty fun. You guys can see, get a nice good shoulder, get all the way down to my cheek weld, do whatever I want. So you guys can see, it's there. At least for me, when I adjusted this, it's good. Also on the other shoulder, you guys can see, it's pretty good. This kind of foam here, there's foam is padded. It can be a little bit stiff, I guess, especially if you lean over like this, you can feel it in the back of your neck. But what's that gives a little bit of a show, like M32 gonna work. So we're gonna do a little reload. So I say shoot. And there we go, did our reload, another. And there you go, that's about as fast we're going to do a reload here with the Splat M32. It's pretty awesome, and the reason why I made this video was because there's not a lot of English speakers talking about this test. So I got a little bit rushed at the end, sorry there was like a little bit of direction. I hope you learn a little bit more about the Splat M32 and M32, fucking derivatives and stuff. And I'll probably make a remake of this video because it's probably going to turn out like shit. But thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.